Hey everyone, my name is Andrew Davis, and you are watching Conversations in Pop Culture. And yes, I am scandalous like an Ashley. And I do want to remind everybody that this is kind of a rare occurrence. I am doing an interview on a Sunday night because I took tomorrow off. I took a day off. I turned my 4-day weekend into a 5-day weekend. I've been interviewing a lot this whole vacation. That's what I really enjoy doing. It is a rare occurrence, but I do want to remind everybody beyond the rare occurrence that I am brought to you by my friends over at Pocket Jack Comics. President Poulter is a great human being. He obviously just wrapped up House of the Golden Princess, which is a really cool comic that's based off of a Dungeons and Dragons story. And back in the 70s, definitely female empowerment story. And it's beautiful interiors. He sold out of a bunch of covers immediately. Then there was some other stuff that he added back in there, released a few more of them, and then those sold out too. So it's kind of a cool thing, and it just wrapped up. But if you're really nice and ask nicely to Preston, I'm sure that he might be able to get you some, depending on how you ask, or there might be some on the next campaign, or it might be in local comic stores, whatever it is. Just look up Pocket Jack Comics and you can get yours. And I do not think you will be disappointed with the story. So I've read a good chunk of the story as well as the art, as it's just immaculate. It's just immaculate. But enough about that, because I got with me Chris Brown. So welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going, bud?
I'm doing good. I got no complaints. No complaints. So obviously you got a lot going on. You got a bunch of stuff going on because you got a YouTube show. On hunting. You're shooting some bucks out in Pennsylvania. I didn't say where in Pennsylvania. We're not going to dox people today. Pennsylvania is a big state. It's a big state. So, I don't think I gave too much away. It's not like it's like Rhode Island or Delaware. Delaware's like 13 miles, guys. Delaware's a small state. You can walk from one side of Delaware to the other pretty quickly.
They run marathons longer than that.
Yeah. They do run marathons longer. In fact, in Delaware, it's so bad that they have to run from one side of the state and then back again to complete a 26 marathon. So the starting line and the finish line are crossed 4 times. It's terrible. And then you don't know where somebody is. And so they have to really do real color commentary. Oh my God, it's just terrible. A Delaware marathon is not a fun marathon. It's such a terrible joke. It's such a terrible joke. Imagine me in stand up, but don't worry, I did stand up in Maryland, so it was all right.
Good place there.
Hey! Everybody had to cross over the bridge in Delaware, so
exactly.
We all had a good chuckle. Anyway, this is terrible, but you got that going on that show. You also have a board game company and a comic book company, and it's primarily over Welcome to Slaughterville. Yep. So why don't you kind of give everybody a brief introduction on who you are, what you do, your company, what products you have out there, and then we're going to talk some of this stuff because you've done a bunch of shit lately.
Just name's Chris. I've been making games, comics, books since 2005, so going on just about 20 years now. And I really do it so that you have enough good stories that you're able to tell people. And that's what I like to do with my games. That's what I like to do with pretty much everything I do, is give you the opportunity to tell a fun story.
No. So let's actually talk about this a little bit, because you obviously just did a game. Mm-hmm. I think it was Gods of Metal something, right?
Yep. Gods of Metal, Eternal Vigilance.
And so I don't know, was that technically the sequel to the first Gods of Metal?
Mm-hmm. It was a small expansion.
Small expansion sequel. I don't know necessarily the correct code words or names anymore, because sometimes the game is a sequel, sometimes it is not a sequel, or it's an expansion. The Seafarers of Catan is an expansion.
Right.
Yeah. But what is that like? Because obviously, when you build an expansion, you obviously have a base game. Mm-hmm. And so my understanding of the game, and it's been a while since I played, is that you're trying to build the ultimate band in a card game type scenario. And then what is this like to build an expansion? Because obviously you need an audience, but you also want to refresh the. Sorry, I was just breathing for a second. You want to refresh the concept of the game too, because when somebody says, "Oh snap, this is an expansion, but I don't have the base game," they need to buy both.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's that like? Because it's tricky because all of a sudden if you don't have the audience and nobody gives a damn about the base game, but you did an expansion, like so
Yeah.
I've never been in this situation, right?
Well, that's the thing from the business standpoint. I guess it would be like if you buy a lot of an issue one and the issue one doesn't sell, you don't buy as much of issue two, right? So that's why I look at it and say, well, how well did the first game sell? First Gods of Metal sell? Was it worth it then for me to put out an expansion, even a smaller one? And yeah, we had enough that we could do it, and we did. We funded it. It's already done, shipped out already. Everything's gone, and it's all good to go. And I did the same thing with this. I have people. I swear to God in heaven, this happened. I think it was 2 days ago. Somebody's writing, "You're doing more Slaughterville, right? You're doing Slaughterville 4." I said, "Yeah, that'll be 2025. We're going to be ready for that." So.
Let's actually talk about this because I do want to touch upon this idea where it's the position where you build a base and
Yes.
then it's figuring out cool X amount sold on this. And
Mm-hmm.
then if we do an expansion, we obviously have a built-in base customer to some degree. We're going to lose some people, we're going to gain some people, and some people are going to be lifers, and then people come and go. It's just that's just business in general. I have repeat customers in my eBay business selling cards and comics, but then I find new customers and then I lose some customers and it's just maybe they're just done. And then also maybe somebody's not happy with me or maybe somebody moved on in their life.
Right.
Or maybe they moved on from something, or maybe I don't have a product, or maybe whatever happened, they're just not happy with me anymore. And that's fine. That's life. I
Mm-hmm.
understand that happens. But what is this like? Because it's also a risk, and even how you evaluate that risk. Because I think you were touching upon it a little bit, but it's like cool to do a game that could cost anywhere
Mm-hmm.
from 5 to 15,000 conservatively, if not more. And so, what is that like? Because you obviously need to put some skin in the game, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's also what don't I do next that is quote unquote a slam dunk. I mean, nothing's a slam dunk, but like because that's the trick in my business too is that what risk and how do I calculate risk? And I'm always
Sure.
curious how you figure it out because I think it's a problem in comics in general and in creation.
Right. Well, if we're looking at risk, all of my games are print ready when I go to Kickstarter or Indiegogo or wherever I go to. So as soon as I hit that go live button, I can also hit the send to the printer button. So this way people know with me, could it be late because of shipping? Sure. But all the stuff is always done. Now, one of the things that you can use to almost gauge what your audience is going to be is cultivate that darn email list. I swear to you, it's going to be you're going to lose people, like you said, and I've lost quite a few. But on the other side, I've gained quite a few. And the most difficult thing with this so far was understanding that genres don't cross over. Okay. Uh, the people that like Gods of Metal might like the Slaughterville games, but they might hate the Gone Hunting game. It's nothing against the game. It's just not their theme. It's not the thing that they're into, right? Um,
So I want to break this down a little bit. Sorry to cut
sure.
you off because I don't have an email list
Oh, you
at
should.
all. But the reason why I don't have an email list is that I've looked at this and I say, cool, I'm doing really well on TikTok, and that's driving traffic to YouTube. I then use my YouTube channel to drive traffic to eBay. I find products that naturally sell themselves. And instead of pumping the time and resource into email lists and cultivating an email list, I'm legitly building out content and I'm building out content on content on content. And then I started harvesting and really supplementing my YouTube community. And that's what's driving it. And then I look at that and then I look at algorithms and I look at trendy products. And so rather than spend time building an email out every other week or every Sunday saying, hey, I got this new product in my, store here, because to find those customers, it's just going to be bad rather than me negotiating a wholesale deal. So it's actually better for me to spend my time figuring out how to lower my prices and then become more competitive on that because I'm on a platform that legitly I just found a product and I just need to get my product cheaper. So like this is where this gets really tricky. And this is where I want to actually you brought up a great point because I get it in creation. You got to let people know, hey, I got this launching in 3 weeks from now. I don't need to tell you a damn thing because Topps or Panini, which does the WNBA cards or baseball, they're marketing the product.
Right.
I'm just beating them on price because I'm buying in a wholesale capacity. So, like, I don't need to market my product. My Caitlin Clark sell themselves, and I'm $3 cheaper than Panini with free shipping. The question is that how do I become cheaper than my competitors directly, or how do I have a better deal? Or is it that somebody is saying this guy over here is shipping out 500 cards and he already sold 400 of them, which means I'm going to be at the bottom of the barrel. This guy only sold 10 and they're the same price. Chances are he's going to be shipping out 25 cards all at the same time. This guy probably has a system over here and I might be at the bottom of the barrel because I've been on both ends of that trade. And so like that, this is why I think this is interesting because I don't know if you so much need an email list if you're doing it what I'm doing, which is
Right.
I have a product that sells itself and then I utilize social media massively heavy.
And that's the nice thing is, like you said, if you're selling the cards, that company that printed them is already doing a lot of that marketing. Where with me, I'm the one doing the printing. I'm the one that has to do the marketing.
Stephen A. Smith is my best friend. He sells Caitlin Clark. I don't need to sell Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Stephen A. Smith, who has a huge audience, is selling it for me. And that's what's insane is that ESPN is legitimately making me so much money because they cannot stop talking about Caitlin Clark. And I just so happen to have expensive Caitlin Clark cards that people want at a reasonable price.
Yeah, I'm not a sports guy, and even I heard of that person.
But you get what I'm saying though, right? So, but even tabling it, I'm trying to bring it back to your thing because I'm curious what you think, and I can very well be wrong, and maybe it's not. But like to me, what makes sense for me is that my products are going to take care of themselves, and I get that you have to market it, but like I can spend time in an email list. And email lists are brutal hell. They are brutal hell. And to get somebody to sign up for something is just shitty.
Yeah. And you'll find a lot of the people that have done it, that have gotten larger audiences, even ones that were friendly, are now no longer going to be friendly because they don't want you stepping on their market share. So, no, nothing is as simple or as polite as it seems. We'll put it that way.
I mean, I get emails from people in comics, and I delete most of them. I don't need to know what somebody's doing. I don't. And then the other thing is that if I backed your campaign, I get the updates, and I'd rather have it updated on Kickstarter. And I just log into my Kickstarter, and I'm like, oh, cool, update number 78. Cool, you got a book launching in 3 weeks. Got it. Versus you telling it to me in an email. And then the other thing is that there's the Substack position now too. And this is why I'm making the argument where if I wanted to really build a card business, I would write for free on Substack, connect it to an email. You get it in your email. You would sign up for free and you get knowledge in that. And then I would sneak in my eBay business on the back end. Because I think that's a much better solution than an email list. And this is why I'm being critical, but I'm maybe I'm wrong. I could very well be wrong.
No, I've always admitted my area of expertise is in the creation, the design, and so on. I've always admitted that I lacked in the marketing part of it. So, no, I'm open to find out any other avenues. Like, I don't use TikTok at all.
I love TikTok. TikTok's the shit. I love TikTok because the reason why I like TikTok is that it's 60 seconds, right?
Mhm.
I have anywhere from 15 to 60 seconds to get a small little clip, and it automatically just gets somewhere into the algorithm of it. So guess what? Somebody might watch it for 10 seconds, 13 seconds, but what do I put? I put up a title on the top end of it, and then I put on the bottom, full interview can be found on my YouTube channel. Right in there.
Mhm.
It's an automatic position. So somebody watches it for 15 seconds, they know where to find that content. And then guess what? Somebody just swipes past it, but it counts as a view. And it counts as a view. And I view TikTok to just be a feeder, right? It's the same thing, but I take that same content that I use for TikTok, I put it on
Mhm.
YouTube and I put it on Instagram. So I'm not building the content necessarily just for TikTok. I'm taking content and I'm placing it in 3 or 4 or 5 places, all the same content. These so the content overlaps, but what do I care? It's just another place to put it. Hell, I'll put it on Rumble for all I care. I want it. I just want my content in play because anytime I can get somebody to a platform for dirt cheap money, I'm gonna do it. That's why I love TikTok. I use TikTok very differently than other people use TikTok. I use Instagram very differently. I use Instagram to find interviews. I
Hmm.
don't use Instagram to post my freaking comic book collection. It's just you just need to post something there. I use it because it's a search tool. I was on somebody's show almost 3 years ago. We were talking about this, and I said I use Instagram very differently than all of your other customers use it. I'm looking for interviews on Instagram because I can search for specific cosplayers and comic creators, and then I can contact them directly, and then I can book an interview for my YouTube show, and then I could tell people, "Hey, I'm interviewing this person on Instagram. There are people on Instagram, and there you go."
Okay. Um,
I'm so anti-email list. I don't think it's the answer. I don't because you can go to my Instagram, you see it, you don't have to open something up.
Mhm.
You cannot reject a TikTok. You could swipe past it, forward it, wherever you want, but it's going to find its algorithm. With you can unsubscribe to my email, and then I'm completely blocked from you. And I've done it. But no. But my opinions are my opinions. My opinions might be wrong, and I'm more than happy to take an L on my opinions and my thought process. But that's what I look. I mean, I'll be
Mhm.
honest. I'd rather post a picture of a girl up in a bikini, and I could say, "Hey, I got an eBay store right next to that image on my Instagram." And guess what? I'll get traction to my eBay store. Or better
Hmm.
yet, I'll post a girl in a bikini and say, she looks really good in that bikini. I have an eBay store, Pop Anime Comics Collectibles, in the same image. And I will get people to come, and then I could buy pictures of her in that bikini, have her sign it, and sell those on my eBay store.
Hmm.
And I'll make so much money, and I'll give her a 50% commission on it because I'll just make so much money on it. It'll be ridiculous. Versus an email list.
Mhm.
I digress.
Again, we're looking at different industries, but I can see where. That's why also why I do the YouTube and why I do some postings is because
I'll ask it a different way in the comic industry, right? Let's say I went to go do a comic Kickstarter, right?
Mhm.
I went out and I hired a top model who was in the swimsuit edition of Sports Illustrated, had her cosplay a cover, right? I put that on Instagram with a correct caption of that cover, right? And I say available on the Kickstarter, supermodel, whatever,
Mhm.
featured in Sports Illustrated. Is that going to be more effective on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or in an email list?
Well, I'm sure it would, but
That's my point, is that I'm trying to find the most
now
efficient
no.
ways
Okay.
to market myself. And I find an email list in today's age is not the most efficient way how to do it.
Okay. I can see that. Now, what's really selling the product? In all of the things you've mentioned, what was selling the product? Say it.
Traffic that I don't know.
Titties.
It was all me. It was all
selling
me. I was selling it because I came up with no. Sex.
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't really translate well again into what I do. Now, have I looked into using possible influencer style? But who do you know how to trust? That's the problem. You can't.
Agree.
A lot of the people, and I've seen people with thousands upon thousands of quote unquote followers, which you don't know if they're real or if they were purchased. And I've gotten nothing from them.
I'll throw something out there, right? So I forget. I think it's Social Blade. It's called.
Yeah.
You know the website, right?
Of course.
Social Blade, for those who don't know, allows you to type in, I think, 3 or 4 a day of people's Instagrams or Twitters, and it actually shows the engagement. So it shows the followers versus the engagement. So it's interesting because somebody could have 10 million Instagram followers, but if their engagement is only 100,000, yeah, you have a lot of people who potentially follow you, but are people engaging with you? Because engagement is king. It's great to have. If you have 10 million people, your engagement could actually be horrible. It doesn't, but that number is going to be larger. 5% of 10 million is more than more than 10% of a million. Just naturally, because you have more numbers. Now, 1% of 10 million is not the same as 10% of a million, or 10% of 10 million. Or I'm sorry, if you have a million and you have a 10% engagement rate versus a 1% engagement rate on 10 million, it's actually the same. Now that I think it's the exact same. But the point is that if you have a 0.5 engagement rate on 10 million followers and a 10% engagement rate on a million, the million has a higher engagement rate, is where I'm going with this. But Social Blade is very useful. I mean, Jessica Nigeri, who's a top cosplayer who has 3.7 million Instagram followers, her engagement rate is dog shit. It's bad. Now, you might have 80,000, 100, 200, 300,000 people liking a post, but you have 3.7 million. If you have 200,000 people liking a post of yours on the top end, that's not good. That's not good. But she doesn't even have that. I think she has maybe like on the top end like 150,000 sometimes. It's not good. It's a lot of people watching. It's a lot of people engaging. If you're a company and you paid her $10K, it's still good to have 150,000 engagement rate, but it's not great.
No,
It's
not for what they had. You should usually expect at a minimum 10 to 15% of the subscribers that will hit the like. Maybe some will comment.
But me and Tom Hutchins were having this conversation where it's the potential is what they're buying.
Yeah.
They're not, and then these companies say, cool, I bought the potential. I now say I've worked with Jessica Nigeri and that we paid her X. You're not her. We could pay you less. And this is how it goes. And I understand the game. But then, because I've been on the back end of this with people paying top influencers, I said, look, this is my audience, man. I'm going to charge you $2 here for a live read. And then the person's like, oh, I saw it the other way. And they went with an influencer and now they're not in business. Because they paid that person a lot of money. And I'm like, that's the problem, is that if you took that money, you could have paid me 1% of what you paid them. And you would have had a lot more money around. And if it didn't work out for 10 episodes, you would have been out $50. But you paid somebody legitimately $15,000 for 50 episodes and it didn't work out. And then I tease them now all the time on Instagram because I'm a troll. I remember, hey, dude, how's business? I really loved your product. It's great. I bought it the other day, man. I'm still wearing it. It's great. Would have loved to work with you. But no. I mean, this is, but I agree because that's a problem, right? I don't know if you saw what me and Paul Gomez were speaking about earlier this week.
I don't believe I did.
Surrounding the Jim Lee and the connection issue.
No, what happened?
where we were speaking live about this. It was sort of an improv comic hangout, and the
Okay.
premise of what we were talking about is that would you pay for a connection?
Hmm.
And what Paul is looking for, and what we're talking about is that he might pay for a connection. We're speaking about this podcaster who paid somebody, and then she got Mark Cuban on, Megan Trainor, and she got all these other people on, and now she got it on for free, and she's become bigger because a podcast production company came involved. But what I
Mhm.
said to Paul is, I said, it depends on the connection. It also depends, though, is that what's somebody to bring to the table, right? Like, I would love to have a connection with Tops and Panini to buy at a cheaper wholesale rate, but I'm not going to pay for that. I'm just going to
Right.
call them up and say, I want to buy from you guys at a wholesale level, and $4 is great, but I want to buy $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 worth of cards from you guys. Cool. Who do I talk to in your company to do that?
Hmm.
I don't need to hire somebody to make that connection, right? Because Panini's like, yo, you want to buy $4,000 worth of cards from us? Dude, let's talk.
Right.
Every single month, like clockwork, we're in, man. So, but at
And
this, yeah, sorry, what were you saying?
one of the most unfortunate things about a lot of these um, social media marketing campaigns or the campaigners is that they will do the charging 35, 40, 50, $60 per post or something like that. That's crazy. And when you ask them, well, can I guarantee that that I'll get something out of this? No. So I'm just paying you for a shot in the dark. And some of them, will that be worth it? Probably. There are some that it might be. But if you haven't heard of this person when you're looking up and you're going to market with them, if you haven't heard of them and you're in the industry, why go with them?
But what me and Paul were talking about, and this probably relates a little bit back to that, is that would you pay for a connection? So,
Right.
and buying a connection is great, but it's the idea that like if somebody is connected to TV, it's still though you're asking for an introduction, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
What you should really be asking for is saying, why should I pay you money if you have a connection in TV? It should be that if I bring you $1 million deal, I get 10% of the deal. So there should be contingencies on it rather than a fee on it. So,
Listen.
so if I was to say to you, let me bring Slaughterville to television, I work in TV and I'm going to go pitch it to a studio, and I have a friend who's a top director, right? The position should be there's two ways to go about it. You could pay me, maybe $3,000 to pitch it, or you could say, I will give you 10% whatever deal you bring. So if you give me a $2.1 million deal, I'm writing you a check for $210,000 out of that deal. So if somebody is really certain, they should be taking the equity side of this. It should be
Mhm.
contingency based, that I'm going to pitch it to 3 or 4 studios, and if I get it, I get 10% of it.
Mhm.
You don't get 10% of the property, you get 10% of the deal that was brought. But anytime somebody says, I want to be paid up front just to introduce you to somebody, that's when things get sketchy, right?
Mhm.
Even if somebody's well known. I mean, it's and that it's a tricky situation.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of the way an agent works, though, right? You're paying them for this introduction, um, whether it's well, it doesn't matter what industry it's for.
Yeah,
In fact, there are.
theoretically, I'll explain a little bit about agents. Sorry to cut you off. So let's say that you're a brand new voice actor, and you have no
Mhm.
money. Your agent might pay for headshots, right? They
Okay,
might pay for helping you build a demo reel.
but
Now,
but those are all things you can do yourself.
what an agent might do is they might help you. Let's say you're 6, right? You're a child actor. An agent at that point is going to do that. And then once you start making money, they're going to start getting that money they laid out back because you're 6,
Mhm.
right? So if you need headshots or you need something else, they're going to help you in that regard. So, but because they want to make money on you, but also they're going to shop you around, right? You're a voice actor. They're going to say, cool, here's 50 auditions, right? They're going to get you those auditions and open up some doors. And they might get you on a show like One Piece or a show like Naruto or a show like Bleach. And they're going to get you a bunch of auditions. Then if you book that audition, the agent is going to get a piece of that. And then conversely, the other side is that you're going to have another agent that handles all your con stuff, right? So now you're going to a convention, and if you're a wrestler or a voice actor or a celebrity, whatever you are, right? You're going to have an agent who's a con agent, and then
Or
they're
would
going
they be a publicist?
I don't know. I don't think it's a publicist because I think a publicist is more press.
Okay, I'm just
A
curious.
con agent is the one who's going to be basically saying, hey, this person is available to go to cons. They have this following, and we think they'd be great at your convention, right? And you negotiate the contract there, and there you go. And then that con agent's getting a piece of it.
But again, you're still paying that person for creating a connection, right?
You're paying off of you, but you, if I had an agent, right, and they book me at the con, I'm not paying the agent anything. The agent is getting a piece of what that deal brought in.
Right. So you would have, let's say this person at the convention contacted you directly and offered you 15 grand to go, or 10, make it nice round numbers. They offered you 10 grand to go. The agent gets 20%. So now you have to give that agent 2, whereas if you didn't have that agent, then you would keep the whole. So you're paying that agent, but that agent's job is to create these connections. It's to go out and meet people, like you said, spread your name and do all of that promotion.
And also make sure I get paid. Make sure I get paid. That's a big one. That's a big one.
What do you mean make sure you get paid?
An agent's job is to make sure I get paid.
Okay. But it's still paying for the connection to get you out for these auditions, right?
Yeah. Or an opportunity or do something. But
right.
They're getting paid, though, for the result. Because let's say I don't get the job, they don't get paid. First thing, what Paul and me were speaking about, and what Paul was making the argument for, saying, I will pay somebody X amount of money to get me in a room for 15 minutes with a top publisher or somebody from television. Well, that doesn't mean anything, because what if you get in the room for 15 minutes and they like you, but they don't like your book or they don't like your presentation? First thing, you seal the deal, you get the gig, and now that person is getting money. Those two things are very different. It's the same thing when somebody pitches on social media, right? Saying, I get you 15,000. I just got one on Instagram, right?
Did you?
It was great. It was great. I'm like, and then they were like harassing me, like 4 or 5. Is there a problem with the price? Give you a discount. I'm like, I said, you can pitch me all you want. I'm gonna decide. I mean, it's different when somebody says, hey, Andrew, can I do a cover for you? Right? So, like, I find it interesting, though, nonetheless, because I would, but also people want to help people with connections, right?
You'd think.
I've been connected with people, a lot of people, but people want to connect me with other people because, I don't know, it's just one of those things, right? I'm not a dick. Like, and also, I'm in a weird place, right? Because I'm a show and I'm in a space that's unique, and I also have a growing show, so people want to introduce me to other people and want to help me evolve. Because guess what? When you're not a dick, it's helpful. Because let's be realistic.
Are you calling me a dick?
No. You and I both know that there's a lot of people who are horrible people in comics.
Yeah.
And
It's unfortunate.
There are very few people who are nice and generous and give a damn about this. There's a lot of people who are horrible underneath the surface. And it's a harsh reality. And I don't mean to sound pessimistic and, like an old person and a crabby old like grandfather, but there's a lot of horrible people in this industry who look nice, appear nice, But when we dive down a little bit down, 1 or 2 layers down, they're horrible human beings.
Yeah, I've met some that'll stomp on you and ignore you until it's the time that they want something. I honestly, I almost quit the comics part this week because of stuff like that. I've had it happen too many times in the last month or so that people you thought you could count on, well, they showed you who they were.
I have a new policy. I'll tell you my policy. Somebody just asked me, who hasn't spoken to me in a while, for an interview. I said, cool, what's the book? Gave me the book, right? Said, when you're launching, okay, you're launching this time, got it. I said, I will let you know. Because right now, I just booked somebody who is a young and upcoming book. I was like, yeah, man, I want to be on the show. Yeah, absolutely, let's do it. When you're free, man, I mean, I'm playing with my niece today and tomorrow. My niece is visiting, so I'm not really working too much on business during the day. She's 2 and she's learning how to swim. It's the cutest thing ever. It's the cutest thing ever. And then a bunch of people in the neighborhood all came to the pool because I live in an area in an HOA that has its own pool. And then all like the older kids were just like watching her go in and out of the pool and climbing up over the step and back in. And they were all being very polite with her. It was a very wholesome moment in society. It was a very wholesome moment. But the point is that, like, that's my new policy, saying, cool, great, you want to be on my show, you don't reciprocate with me, but rather than me bitch and say fuck you, okay, cool, I'll see who's on my radar, and if I have a spot for you, great. If I don't, people will reciprocate with me or bring value to me, or potentially bring a clip that I could cut up that can get me 200 views on micro content, or it's going to be evergreen, or it's going to be effective in a year from now. That's where we're going. And what?
Sorry, don't even get me started on the evergreen content. I've tried explaining that to so many people. They don't want just one style. They want that video that they're gonna like. When I go to a new person and I enjoy that person, oftentimes I'm going to scroll back through what they used to watch, what they used to do. If you're not creating content that people want to go back and look at later, you're losing money. You're losing money.
I'll give an example. My favorite questions to ask is that you find a voice actor who has prominent roles, right? Brian Donovan. The whole interview, we spoke about 3 roles. 3 in 30 minutes. He was Davis from Digimon, prominent role. He was some other guy in some other anime that was just a fun one. That was a one-off that everybody loves because it's just funny. And then the last one, he's Rock Lee from Naruto.
Okay.
So in 30 minutes, I cut up, I think I got like 7 clips out of 30 minutes, right? I asked him the question, how did you get the voice of Rock Lee? That is an evergreen question, right? That question in 10 years from now in that video is going to be relevant. In 20 years from now, that video is going to be relevant. So at a certain point, that's relevant. So that clip doesn't need to generate 100 views a day. It needs to generate 5. Because every week, that clip generates me between 15 to 25 views. And all of a sudden, over 10 years, you now have a piece of content that has generated you 5,000 views. Easy, conservatively, without me having to do any other work than cutting it up once.
Right.
And so that's what evergreen content is important on, and it finds its algorithm. Because guess what? I know exactly what content that's put next to because YouTube tells me. I know exactly where that's put. And that is invaluable. That is invaluable. Because when you understand what somebody looks for and then my content's recommended off of that, it's invaluable. Because it tells me how to tag the next thing. But that's my whole position. Is that, but yeah, that's where I'm at with that. But I don't know. I don't know how we got onto this, but what were you gonna say?
I don't even remember anymore. But I'm sending you your Gods of Metal expansion.
You could tell people where I live. That's fine.
496 North, South, West, East land. But this is the new book that's coming out. This is just a print sample copy that I'm going to be sending out. So that's the next thing that's coming in September.
No. It makes sense. No. Because we don't get to talk about the business. I don't get to talk about business with people because nobody wants to talk about it, and it kills me. And it's just like, I don't know, we were talking about the policy that I have, where my new policy now is that you hit me up, we haven't spoken, I don't know who the hell you are. Okay, cool. Sounds interesting. I'm going to let you know if I need you. Because that's what it seems to be with everybody else in this position, is that, cool, if I need you, I'll let you know. And when I need you, I'll let you know. I may or may not need you. I haven't decided yet. I'm seeing who's on my docket. And it sounds like I'm kind of a dick when I say this. But I don't know. Like that's how I feel, right? Is I'm going to see what you're offering and I'm going to see if it fits into my show. And I think this is the new standard in interviews. I think this is the new standard in comics. I think it's the new standard in hiring people, to be honest. And you know, it is, I mean, I got my job because I fit in, right? Apparently, I fit in with the rest of the team. I have a component on accessibility, and there you go. So it works.
Yeah. I'm completely in agreement there. I guess it's the, I'm not going to cut you off because, again, content is content. But at the same time, if you're not going to be friendly, we'll say, in the off hours, then you're not getting high priority.
Oh, it's not even that. You don't have to be friendly with me. You got to bring something to my table. Right. I mean, you're not a wrestling fan, but Roman Reigns is the head of the table, right? Or get John Wick this. There's the high table, right? So you have to bring something of value at this point to a show. Now, that value could be potential, right? I interviewed this new voice actress, Beth Pierce. I took a shot on her, right? I liked what she was doing in her few roles, but I also said, look, she could be the one, right? Where I think if she wants to, there's a good chance that she could be in a bunch of stuff, and perhaps she could be, I don't know if she's going to be the next big thing, but she could in the next few years be a well-working voice actress in a bunch of stuff very easily. It's not unforeseeable. And so I took a spec bet. So the part what she brought to the table is that I haven't done a voice actress or actor in a while. She's young, which means she's got a lot of years ahead of her. And then she's also relatively talented. And guess what? She was going to be on time, right? That's a big thing too, is you're not going to sandbag me. And, you know, the value of her is that there's a lot of potential that could come out of it. And then I'm in the process of doing somebody who also has a lot of potential because they're like 20, right? So when you're 20, you have potentially a 40 to 50-year career ahead of you, which means you have a lot of potential, and that adds value. If you're 50 in comics, your potential, you could have a lot of potential. You could have a runaway book, but if it's your first book, there's not a long runway. Because you're at the back end of your life. And that's the problem too. And that's how I feel right now, is that, so I have to evaluate all of this. And it sounds mean when I say it that way, but I'm a business.
Here's something I wanted to ask you.
Go right ahead.
No,
I am not rooting for the Las Vegas Aces. So let's just get that right out of the way. New York Liberty, I think they could do it this year. I think they could do it, but they got to get their shit together.
I don't even know who they are.
That loss yesterday was very upsetting against the Indiana Fever. They had that game, Chris. They had that game, and they fell apart in the fourth quarter. They were getting their asses kicked, and they rallied, and they had the unit. They had the unit, and they had all of New York, and they had the Statue of Liberty saying, Give us a win over the Indiana Fever. It's carved on the goddamn statue. But no, we couldn't have it. It had to be. It used to be bronze, and now it's green.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what yesterday was.
It was a tarnish on a once proud league.
It was a disgrace for New York yesterday. It was a disgrace for New York. I was very upset. I am very upset. People on Twitter were like, "Oh my god, this guy is pissed off." There was like 100 tweets. We're like, "Dude, relax, man. You lost like $5 on this game. Calm down. Like, you don't understand. This is a problem."
You and the one other person watching, right?
It's funny because there's 100 people who are commenting, but there's only 2 of us watching this.
I know, it's weird. It's weird. No, I was wondering how.
Ask your question. I couldn't help it. This is what we do.
Yeah. But you have a bunch of different content on there, right? You do the wrestling, you do the anime, the other pop culture kind of figures. How did you find training the algorithm to accept that you did so much different content?
So what I figured out is that what it is that it's interesting, right? So it's a matter of just tagging it correctly. Mm-hmm. It just comes down to tagging, right? So understanding how to tag something, right? So the live stuff isn't necessarily I mean, it depends, right? Like when I did Sasha Nakamoto, that live thing just took off because that thing was just trippy as fuck. Where YouTube realized, I think, that on an AI level, they looked at the content and they're like, "Oh my god, this thing is trippy." So that video was something that was just eye catching. And what happened probably with the Sasha Nakamoto is that people stopped and were like, "Oh my god, this is weird. I gotta watch this." And then that one was taken off a certain way. When I did Sam Carter, who does shoot, I can't think of Sam's book right now. It's a slasher, like the slasher or okay. Final Boy is his book. So it took me. Have you read it? It's pretty good. I've read the first 2.
That one. I only got to see the first one.
The first one is not good. The second one is where we get into the good shit on that book. There's a lot of good stuff with Final Boy. Final Boy is a wild one. It's fun. I read issue 2. I should hit up Sam probably in October, but that did on a live one did like 1600, but it's a slasher, right? Mm-hmm. Somehow that just got into that algorithm, and then I re-released it. I targeted slasher, and people love slashers, people love Final Girl, people love Final Boys, people love horror movies, people love Scream, right? I mean, Scream is a slasher thriller, right?
It could be called that, yeah.
So I mean, I don't know any other thing else. I mean, you got scary movie, like so when you tag it that way, that helps to train the algorithm. But then sometimes you just get a runaway. But like a lot of it's just tagging. It's just tagging, and it's understanding that if you put Naruto in there and you have a Naruto voice actor and you have broccoli and you type broccoli Naruto, it's going to target something, and then YouTube is gonna go find it. And then all of a sudden, when it reaches a certain threshold on viewership, it then knows where to put it even more. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you just need to get it over. So like the Bella Madison Session Girl stuff, the way Bella looks helps a lot. I mean, she's got G cup. Oh, just so I could say.
Mixing cups correctly, right?
Bella Madison has G plus cup breasts. She's wearing something that's attractive. We're talking about session wrestling and her potentially wrestling you. And for whatever reason, within a few seconds, when I re-released that micro content, got like 500 views. LFC helped to push it a little bit, and they shared it out. And then after I got the 500 views, I'm pretty sure YouTube figured out where to put that in the algorithm. And that's why that thing has almost like 6,000 views. It's not an accident that happened. And then the same thing with the Bella Rockefeller stuff. And it also helps that the image is a certain image, right? All that stuff matters. Mm-hmm. Now you're catching eyes, and I'm telling YouTube where to put the fucking video. But then also I tell YouTube not to where to put videos because I don't need everything to run away like a wildfire.
Right.
But I know when I cut a big booty Savannah Fox, I know exactly how that's gonna go. And I know what images to use. Because I know where to push the line, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly where to push the line. And that's how I figured it out. And so I spent a lot of time tagging and I spent a lot of time on image creation.
Okay.
But that's the thing, right? YouTube also is a big platform. So you can
Yeah.
go do that on YouTube. I can go do that on eBay. When you are legitly on Kickstarter, you can't do that the same way.
Mm-mm.
So
And
yeah, what was I gonna say?
I was going to say, for anybody just getting started, what I found with a lot of things, and please, dear God, take it with just from somebody who's experienced it. If you go onto these Facebook groups and you try to join them, and I understand the need to or the desire to do it, don't join the ones that say promote and are public. It's 90% spam, probably more. It's a waste of your time. But
I rarely promote on Facebook.
It's going to bots anymore. It's not worth the money. It's not worth the effort.
I mean, I could tell you why. All these groups don't have fans in them. They have creators in them.
Mm-hmm.
Creators don't. This is the issue. This is the problem, right? I think it's the problem that Indiegogo has, Soup has, Fund My Comic has, and Kickstarter has. Is you do have fans there, but you also have a lot of creators there, and you're not expanding outward into other areas. I have a business. I'm gonna let you speak in a sec, Chris. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a lot of, when I go anime wise, that brings in a different audience. When I go wrestling wise, that goes a different. When I bring in adult content, that goes a whole different audience, right? And guess what? Some of this shit crosses over. So you go cosplay. I mean, it's not hard. And I'm like, and when I reach out to a cosplay, I'm like, your designs are fucking awesome. I'd be fucking moronic not to interview you. Like, I just shot somebody a message like that. I'd be a fucking moron not to ask you for an interview. Can I please interview you? It'd be a privilege. But what were we gonna say?
I was going to say that I've often thought that these crowdfunding platforms should be more encouraging or incorporating some kind of a social aspect to them, because, like you said, you don't have fans there; they just have a group of people that occasionally browse the site. Whereas if they would allow for more interactive pages, more interaction with the creator people, then you could see which ones you'd know who it was that you're talking about.
Look, I mean, I've been taking a break from YouTube community for the last week and a half, just for a lot of reasons. A lot of stuff's going on. I've been on a vacation, but I used to do polls every day. I'm going to be bringing them back soon. I'm going to be doing a few more. I'm going to build a few tonight, and I'm going to be doing some stuff, later on. And I used to do just random polls, things like best Whitney Houston song, right? I have nothing to do with Whitney Houston, right? On my channel, nothing to do. But guess what? It got like 30 people liking it and engaging with it. But my audience is now engaging with something. They have an opinion on something. I put up a fun meme. I also put up saying Happy National Bikini Day on July 5th because it was National Bikini Day. And I put up like 3 or 4 pictures of girls in bikinis, and it was great. So, like, what's going on is that my audience is, oh my God, I'm coming across this. And now I get to interact on a YouTube community thing. You can do quizzes on that. You can do all sorts of fun stuff on YouTube community. And once I started doing that with micro content, what started changing is people said, okay, there's a lot of cool content here. And every day this guy throws up a weird poll, like, who's your favorite cheetah girl? I mean, it's fun. Best Bradley Cooper movie. What's the best American Pie movie that came out, right? All sort of fun stuff like this. What's your favorite Jennifer Lawrence movie? Didn't release that one yet, but that one will be good. What is your house in Harry Potter? Guess what happens? All this stuff drives traffic. It also helped that I started doing polls, and then I got like 3,200 people saying, "Is Iowa gonna beat LSU?" I got 3,200 people, and it got me like 50 subscribers on YouTube.
Nice.
So my position is, if you're gonna start what I'm doing, you have to understand YouTube community. You have to understand what's going on with YouTube. YouTube is encouraging on-platform creation.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube likes on-platform creation. They like YouTube community, and I like YouTube community because that's what I do. I will promote very few interviews on YouTube, on Facebook, but guess what? When I do it, it actually means something. Because people are like, "Oh shit, this is interesting," and then a bunch of them get liked. And that's the thing. I don't really care. And when I stopped promoting on Facebook and I started interacting on Facebook and I started focusing on the YouTube community stuff, it's gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
My viewership is legit going to double or triple this year. And so is my subscribers from last year. And so is my watch hours.
Okay.
I've already done what I did last year in the first 6 months. Which means that my content that I'm producing now is better, and the content that I did all the previous years is also carrying over. That's what that means, and that's invaluable.
Mm-hmm.
When you have content in the back end that you created 3-4 years ago that's still churning out viewership, that means that you have solid content. And that's the problem that I think is in right now comics in general. Is I don't think people's books are aging well right now.
Yeah.
I don't know who just hit me up.
I don't know. Wasn't me this time.
Oh, I know it wasn't you. That's why I'm concerned. Actually, I do know who hit me up. I just forgot to turn off my phone. Oh, see, I do know who it was. I can't say who it was.
Of course.
He might be running for president. No, he's not. He's not.
Gavin Newsom.
Me and Gab, we go way back in the day. Way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you think we beat Larry Elder? No, that's terrible. That's such a terrible joke. I was so upset. I was disappointed that the Larry Elder was running, and then he said, "After this thing, my first objective is to drink my coffee in the governor's mansion." I really wanted to see that picture.
That would have been one of those, like the Tucker Carlson card and that would have been one of those moments.
I love my Tucker Carlson card. I think it's funny. I think it's really funny. As a card collector, I think it's really funny. There's some serious funny cards out there. I should have bought the leaf metal, like rare Donald Trump stuff. They had a whole set. They had Kamala Harris, they had Joe Biden, they had Donald Trump, they had Bernie. They had like a whole set, and it wasn't even that expensive. And I should have bought it because it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, the whole thing. So, but I digress. I'm not too political on this show for a lot of reasons.
Right.
But if you don't know my politics, everybody, you have been watching me long enough. It's not that hard to figure out where I stand. It's really not.
He's a lesbertarian.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Me and Rosie and Ellen DeGeneres, we all are at that party. I am full of things today. But I mean, I want to talk about this because I don't get to talk about this stuff with anybody for the matter. And I think a lot of people don't think about their comics as a business.
Mm-hmm.
And it drives me mad. And maybe it's because I come at it from a different angle where I run an eBay business and you're producing board games primarily. And maybe that's the difference is that, and I don't know the disconnect, but I don't know how many people in comics are actually profitable. And I don't know on a percentage level either. I think the majority of people are not making much money. And day jobs that cover stuff, their comic might or may not be profitable. I think very few are able to make a full-time profit from this.
Yeah, it is tough to get into it, and it comes back to when you're reaching out to people, you have to make sure that you're reaching out to actual people that would want to buy your stuff. Whereas a lot of these groups and things where people are on, it's just going, as you said, to other creators. So you're like, you might get 100 views, but they're all other creators who are also looking to sell their book, and those people are probably just looking at you, wondering how can I use that person to get me up in that spot. And it's not nice to say, but that's what I think a lot of people do think that way. So yeah, it's got to be a way to find actual comic book readers. Now, I will also say I've seen a lot of comic book reviewers, people that take a look at other. I mean, when they mention indie comics, they talk about Zenescope, Boom, and IDW. Fella, they're not. They wouldn't be considered indie today. You know,
I'll be honest. I mean, I have a good relationship with Zenoscope. I consider Marvel, DC, Image to be tier one.
Mm-hmm.
I then consider that you have a Boom and IDW. You have, maybe a Zenoscope in there, maybe Dark Horse, Source Point, maybe.
Dynamite.
Maybe. No. So it's tricky, right?
Yeah.
We can make the argument right here where second tier is IDW, Zenoscope, maybe if we're going to be conservative or be generous. Boom. Dark Horse, if we didn't mention them already. Source Point, Dynamite. So there's 6 in the secondary, and then the third tier is places like Titan. Then you got places like some other stuff in there, and then you go to fourth tier, which is places like Bad Bug, Space in Between, and those are some more indie companies. And then you could go to there's like 15 others down in tier 4, and then you go to small press.
Mm-hmm.
But you can make an argument that Bad Bug is small press to some degree. So it's tricky, and this is not a knock on any of this. This is just an honest viewpoint of it. But Zenoscope is not an indie company. They might be doing indie projects, but they're not an indie company anymore. I mean, Zenoscope is a multi-million-dollar company.
Yeah, that to me, that would push it out of the indie area.
But they're not. So that's why I say they're a second tier or bordering second, third tier. They're no longer anymore. You just released your first copy of Grim Fairy Tales.
And again, that was my thing with a lot of the reviewers is they won't even look at. And I get it. You're going to find a lot of crap, but maybe share some time to look at some of the books, some of the stuff that's out there.
Jeffrey Haas, who I'm not a fan of, no problem saying it, and there's a good reason. I got no problem telling the story. He booked people on my show without asking, which is a no-no. You can't use the F word. You can't use the F word. That's a no-no, mommy. I was just at South Park. It's one of the funniest episodes when Cartman wants a iPad and mom buys him a Toshiba handy book.
Yeah.
Very funny episode. Very funny episode. It's just Cartman at his best, right? But I love Cartman. I also just saw South Park Bigger, Longer, Uncut, the 25th anniversary, the sing-along edition. Great time. We were all singing Blame Canada in that theater.
Blame Canada. Yeah.
It was great. It was great. The law resistance lives on. It was great.
I'm replaying the Fractured But Whole now.
That was
South Park RPG.
Yeah. The movie was a lot of fun because you had about like 60 people in there all singing because we all knew the movie. Because they had the subtitles on for the songs purposely.
I can remember hearing that movie when it first came out and what they were doing into it, and people just panicked. They freaked out so bad at this cartoon. It was just insane. It was funny.
So my point I'm making is that man, yeah. So, but like I agree, which that with indie, like you don't know what you're gonna get.
Mhm.
But what were you saying before I cut you off?
No, what I was just saying that I would wish that um,
Oh
some
no,
of
no, I was speaking about Jeffrey Haas. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna sorry for cutting you off, but not a fan of him. He booked people on my show without asking. It's a real issue. Then he had two of his guests have to reschedule, and then one of them got sick. And I said, dude, when this happens, you got to realize that it's not okay. That I have
right.
sponsorships, you cost me money. And he's like, how am I supposed to control somebody being sick? And I said, you're not. And then he defriends me
Mhm.
on Facebook, and you're quote unquote a publicist. And then he just put this up trying because he has clients and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And I would love a conversation with him. So if he's seeing this, or you guys want to hook me up, or you want to send him this and me and him want to have a discussion, we can do it very publicly because I got no problem having a discussion with Jeffrey about this. None at all. Whether he wants a moderator, there's like 20 people that I can name who will be fair in us having a discussion. It's not a debate; it's a discussion.
Mhm.
Um, in which that, but I'm not a fan of him because he said, "Where do you go for indie news?" And he just put up that post. You might have seen the post too that he put up. And like, there's no place to put up news or press releases for indie books.
Mhm.
There's really no. I mean, what you're gonna do? Bleeding Cool. Bleeding Cool's not taking your phone call, man.
Right.
Very few people Bleeding Cool will take their phone call on. So it goes back to what we were speaking about sharing content out.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I don't know what you're
That's
saying for that.
no, that's just where I was at. Is um, you kind of wish they would do a feature weekly something for lesser known. And I'm not saying recommend everyone because a lot of them should not be recommended. But you know, maybe
Again,
take.
again, I don't have the time to do this. If I had time or money or advertising or I had anything else, right? I would be breaking down people's books every single week, and it would be brutal. I would spend 30 minutes every single week breaking down somebody's indie book and saying, "Here's the panel that it went well, and this book was horrible." But the issue is that people have to basically sign a waiver saying, "I'm queen for a day."
Mhm.
This is the problem: is that if I start doing that, I'm gonna piss off if I tear up somebody's book and say, "Look, this is where they fucked up here, 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 and here, and here," and then I'm gonna burn bridges. And I don't.
Yeah.
The terrifying component of this is when you review people's stuff is that you tear into somebody, then you burn a bridge. It's very because I need to be queen for a day, and it's what I say to people: if you're gonna interview me, ask me what you want to ask me. You're queen for a day. If you want to ask me about what I do and how I do my business and how I buy and resell and my opinions on A, B, C, and D, you have to understand that you're queen for a day, but you can't go and then use it against me after, if I say something that offends you on a personal level, because you're queen for a day and so am I.
Mhm. Well, again,
It-
that's why I like this thing that I shared with you, and I'm not. I know you don't like to share this stuff, but whether you like the guy or not, I enjoy these kind of reviews where they actually go through and show you what went wrong. Like you said, king or queen for a day, and it goes, okay, this was what they should have done here. And I've seen, I've watched him redraw books, and it was kind of cool. I mean, he was Ethan about it. Let's not bullshit around it.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
I
it's
found
it,
the
it's a legal
content
term.
though.
It's a legal term, queen for a day. So
Yeah.
for a day means you go into a prosecutor's office and said, "Look, I was dealing a lot of drugs over here, and I was moving 50 kilos of coke, but I witnessed the murder." Right? So that means that the prosecution can't use your confession against you in that vein.
Hmm.
So because they're trying to catch something else.
Mm-hmm.
So if you witnessed 6 murders while you were selling cocaine to somebody, you might get queen for a day.
I was selling crack.
Well, you understand the theory though behind
Yeah.
it, right? It's such an important concept, right? So if you ask me my opinion on something, and you want to know what I think, and you want to have an honest opinion about somebody's book, you have to grant me queen for a day. Meaning that if I say your book is wrong here, 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 and here, and this is creating problems, and the character is a bitch, but we got 20 pages that when we needed 6, dude.
Yeah.
You can't then say, well, our friendship's over, Andrew.
And unfortunately, a lot of people would be like that because they can't separate. You know?
If you can't do that, I understand, then we can't have that relationship. That's fine. There's plenty of other relationships. There's people that I cannot have the relationship I just described it, but I can say, what the fuck happened with the Knicks yesterday to them? Or I could say, I'm a Knicks fan, but we were going to lose. I put money against them because we can never beat that team, right? And the person's like, I understand. I'm a Knicks fan too, but I would not put money on that game. That's a reality conversation, but I can't critique your book because you can't separate that. I'm not critiquing your book as your friend. I'm critiquing your book as a business.
Well, I always tell people whenever I have them look at something, read this like you hate me. Because if you hate me, you're going to find every little thing possible wrong. Whereas if you like me, you're going to overlook it. And you're going to be like, and it's sometimes you just won't even catch anything. I'd rather you read it like you hate me.
I've done this. I've used to write for my own website. Used to love it. I didn't make any money from it. Used to love it nonetheless. I wrote, I hated AD After Death by Scott Snyder. I hated that book. And I like Scott. And I wrote a really honest critique. And it was an amazing article. And I highlighted the point. I said, look, you told me what was going on. You didn't show me. You defeated the presence of what a comic book is in this book. This is exactly what you don't do. You're teaching a writing class. This is your book that you should be teaching with. You and Jeff Lemire legitimately wrote the anti-comic book. You had a comic book that legitimately had 3 or 4 pages every 15 pages that told the bulk of the story. That was really hard to read because it was in like script. And great, in 4 pages of prose, you can tell a hell of a lot more than in 4 pages in a comic. So you told 20 to 25% of the story every 15 pages in prose. That defeats the point of a comic. You told me what was going on. You didn't show me. And I used those words in that article. It's a great article. And even Scott was like, he read the article, and I think he realized that somebody actually critically analyzed, because the concept was great, but you legitly failed the point of a comic book. You legitly failed. The point of a comic book is to show me with images, not with writing. Because if I wanted a novel, I would have bought a fucking novel. And I tell this story all the time because it highlights the point of an honest critique. I wasn't critiquing to be mean. I've critiqued books because I was just pissed the fuck off. There's been plenty of things that I've critiqued and took an axe to because I was having a bad day.
Yeah.
I used to critique episodes of anime too. I'm like, this was a useless fucking episode. What the fuck was going on? And like, somebody left the comment and said, dude, you're just having a really bad day, aren't you? Like, this is back. And I'm like, it's like, I was like, dude, your imaging and like your face of this thing. That video is private, but maybe we'll bring it out every once in a while, some of those episodes, because there's been a few of them. And like, someone's like, dude, you're just fucking tearing at this. And you're just like, this, you have we're having a bad day. Like there were like 4 or 5 people like, dude, are you okay? Like it's really funny, but I digress. But yeah, no. Anyway. So how did you feel about the debate 2 weeks ago? No, no, no.
Well, another hour goes by.
Yeah. Let's just say that I went through a quarter of a bottle during that debate.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm okay now. We're gonna be just fine, America.
It's getting a little crowded.
I was fine. I would have much rather watched the Mets play. That'd have been a much better use of my time.
Mm-hmm.
It was oh my god, a quarter of a bottle. I bought a bottle that day, and I just like pouring me some right now, and that was that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very, very, very happy in that regard. But
If you were to pick one alcoholic beverage that you could have, what would it be? Like that's it. You can't have anything else. Nothing else.
oh man, that's tricky. That's tricky.
I know mine instantly. Bloody Mary, without a doubt.
Oh, probably a Jack and Coke.
Yeah.
So maybe a Jack and Coke, but oh man, what type of Jack?
That's the thing. Are you going gentleman's Jack? Are you going the reserves? What do you?
Yeah, see, Gentleman's Jack is further refined.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. Honestly, I might go Fire Jack or Honey Jack.
You could.
Because it's a little less in proof, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you get a little bit more of the spicy on the Fire Jack.
Yeah. I actually have bottles right over here up on the shelf of the little Jack Daniels cooler kind of things, like a down home punch, something peach. And yeah, the wife likes them.
So I just bought a Jack Daniels McLaren bottle. So that's cool. So it's a cool box. It's nothing. Oh man, it's a cool bottle. It's like a special bottle. It costs $9, but there's nothing special about the alcohol. It's just you bought it. I bought it for the bottle because Jack Daniels is McLaren's sponsor.
Yeah.
And so what I'm gonna do is that when I buy a new bottle, I'm just gonna refill the bottle. So I'm gonna use the bottle. It's a cool piece. Somebody sees it, they're like, oh, that's awesome, man. And it's the same thing with my Resident Evil bottles. And then for my birthday, my parents still owe me some Star Trek vodka.
I wanted that so bad.
It's gonna be. I mean, you have the Star Trek rye or slash recipe, and then you have like the Captain's like edition, which is like a $270 bottle, and that's awesome. I want one of those really badly. But it's cool because the Star Trek vodka was on Big Bang, which was funny. That's how I know of it because I thought it was fake, and apparently it's a real thing. And I'm debating between the vodka and the whiskey, but they're awesome. They're both awesome. And I'm so excited for that stuff. I'm so excited for it, and I haven't decided which I'm getting. But like they have Star Trek wine, and I might add to my order, both of them because it'll just be cheaper on shipping. But yeah, no, I would like a Captain's like whatever that thing is, or rye or whiskey, but it's like a $270. But it's fucking cool as fuck. It's the type of thing that you don't need. Like, I won't even open up my Star Trek vodka or my Star Trek whiskey, or if I bought that Captain's bottle, I wouldn't even open it up for like 5 or 6 years. It's not going bad. It's the type of thing that you really don't bring out.
Yep.
It's like Sinatra Select Jack Daniels. You just don't bring that shit out. So, I have some expensive things. What I really want to buy is like an 18-year Macallan.
See, I don't know that.
It's an 18-year aged whiskey.
Mm.
I think it's like $300 a bottle.
Hmm.
I've been in the liquor stores where there are bottles that are like $10,000.
Oh,
And I'm just like, you know what? I don't really feel comfortable in this aisle.
yeah, I would definitely not be in there just from the tripping alone.
It's right on the top shelf. And then my position is that it's like closer downward is the Jack Daniels. I'm like, this is a $40 bottle. I think I'm okay here. I'm just gonna start leaving. And Johnny Walker Blue though is nice too. That's like a $350 bottle.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
But again,
Yeah,
I'm planning to build out a very nice alcohol collection. I like expensive things. What can I say?
buy a couple of them because the more that you take up, the less it's out there, the more expensive they get.
Not necessarily on Johnny Walker Blue because they're just
Well,
produced. I mean, that's mass produced. I mean, it's not mass produced, but it's produced enough of that a Johnny Walker Blue is not going anywhere down. A Johnny Walker Sapphire Bottle Blue is a different discussion.
mm-hmm.
It's a Johnny Walker Blue just in a Japanese sapphire bottle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful bottle. Again. I'm not going to drink half the stuff I buy. I want it because it's a status symbol to me.
Mm.
Because all of a sudden you build a bar and you build a personal bar and people are like, what the fuck? You got like all this shit in your bar. Like, it's a status symbol that I have shit so that and I buy shit when I can buy it. So I will spend money. I bought a bunch of cool shit. Like this book. I bought this book when I had money to buy this book. Because you have to buy things when you have the money to buy them. And it sounds weird, right?
Not at all. Because the cash you hold, if you just hold on to the cash and you don't do anything with it, it's going to go down in value. All you're doing is losing money the longer you have it.
I agree. I'll rephrase. So I could have taken that $250 and bought a stock.
Mm-hmm.
Money would have been spent. I had a surplus of money and I bought an item that I wanted for fun instead of investing because I met technically my investment criteria. And I knew I wasn't going to go through an expansion necessarily in the next 6 months when I bought that or further build a business. I was going to keep it relatively the same. So I said, cool, I'm going to go buy something fun that I want in my personal collection when I can buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I can't really buy anything in my personal collection while I'm sufficing debt and expanding a business. And there will get a time where my business is spinning off a lot of capital and I could add cool items back into my personal collection, or I could buy items that I'm going to need in 3 or 4 years from now, and I could buy them now. But there's also going to be times when you can't do that. That's what I mean when I bought that item or I bought alcohols, is that I know that there's times when I can and can't buy it. So I'm smart enough that when I do have the ability to buy something, and that's why I bought the Jack Daniels McLaren bottle. It was a $40 bottle, but I had the $40.
Mm-hmm.
I could have waited, but I said I'm going to be using this bottle for the next 10 years. And it's sitting, somewhere on a shelf. It's a cool discussion point. The alcohol in it is not the issue. So there you go, right?
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was done.
No, again, I've tried to do that on a few occasions. Like when Spawn 1 came out, back in the 90s, I had Spawn, Cyberport, all the Image comics. I bought a few of each as you would find them because we just had the local shops back then. So I would buy them as I find them, bag them, and board them. Here, didn't it? A crackhead stole all my books. But yeah, it is. I always figure it's wiser to use the money to, as the tool it is. That's all it is. It's just something to get something else done.
I agree.
Use it to get something that'll build on later. If that.
Again, when I have a surplus and I know that I'm not going to need something, it's I tend to use money for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't use it for fun, you may or may not be able to get an item. And that's the whole thing. Like I'm eyeing a $60 watch. I
Mm-hmm.
know that I'm gonna have a 4-month window to figure out to pick up that watch. I missed a watch that I should have bought from WWE a while
Mm-hmm.
ago, and I had the money to do it, and I missed it. It happens, and it will always happen. But this other watch that I'm eyeing is really cool. It's the Seto Kaiba dual disc watch.
Okay.
It's a $60 watch. It's a cool watch because it's the type of watch where it doesn't look expensive, but everybody knows what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's the type of watch that if you're going on a first date, you either wear an Eric Cartman watch, this watch, or you wear a Rolex.
Mm.
And it's gonna figure out you're gonna figure out your date's reaction, which is gonna say you're gonna go for it and you're gonna get married in a month or run the other way. It's one of those two reactions because you gotta vet people. I know everybody's learning a lot about me, how I vet people, right? Vet people by what they wear, vet people by the clothes they wear. Like I'll be honest, this is what I'm wearing on my first date, a shirt like this. They'll be like, what the fuck? We're at Starbucks
Mm-hmm.
freaking Yu-Gi-Oh shirt. This is like really weird. And the girl's like, oh, I get it. I get it. This guy either is broke and homeless or he's worth millions of dollars. I'm not too sure yet. I gotta take the million on him. Oh man.
We'll figure that one out as we go.
Uber. Should have been an Uber. Why is he in an Uber? It's gonna be great. He's walking on crutches. He's wearing a Yu-Gi-Oh t-shirt. This guy is either 100% confident or he's a complete moron. But I'm not too sure. But he has a nice watch on, so
Mm-hmm.
he's wearing his Seto Kaiba dual disc watch. Oh, imagine. So the watch I missed was the Universal Championship belt watch. I did review it. It's like $30. I should have bought it, and I had the chance. And then a freaking beast of a watch. I could have said I was a champion.
Yep.
It's terrible.
We can get replica belts too made for you. It's just
So apparently, Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, I think Seth Rollins, and I'm not too sure who The Rock. I think a few other people all have like the same matching Rolex. WrestleMania 40.
wow.
It's crazy. So I don't know who bought it exactly for everybody, but they all have like matching watches, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So WrestleMania 40 was a great WrestleMania.
I have which I don't remember, Peacock or one of the other ones, and it has all of the WWE stuff on it.
Not for long.
Really?
They're coming to Netflix January.
Dang, I'm gonna have to cancel that, whatever that one is. Then it's the only reason I had it. But anyway, I've been going back through the Attitude Era. I'm about halfway through. I think I'm on like 96 or 97, something like that.
That's some good stuff. I'm telling you, WrestleMania. So 39 was pretty good. 40 was unreal. Everything you wanted out of WrestleMania 40 was perfect.
Yeah.
Both nights were solid.
Now, does Big Vinny still own it?
No, he's done, man. He's out.
Really?
He's been out for a long time.
Well, like I told you, it's been a while since I watched.
He sold it. So WWE's part of Endeavor, then became TKO. So, but it makes sense. I mean, Vince walked away with probably like $3 to $4 billion.
Yeah, can't beat that.
And I mean, it's wild, but it's now it's not owned by the McMahons, but who's to say it won't be owned by somebody at some point? But it's crazy.
Right, I'll buy it just this once.
I mean, again, it's weird because WWE was looking for a buyer. I think Vince wanted out. Obviously, Shane and Stephanie and Triple H. Triple H is running it. And then, it's going to be interesting what they do with this.
Does
But,
it still feel like WWE?
what would you say?
Does it still feel like the WWE?
It's in a new era, man, and it's in a good place. It's in a genuine good place, but and they got the next stars coming up. They got the next people coming up. I mean, John Cena just announced his retirement in the next year. He's probably going to retire at Mania. To be honest, he's got about 12 months left in him.
Yeah,
and he basically said the last Royal Rumble will be 2025. So he might do a whole year tour, which would be awesome. Which means every single pay-per-view is going to matter. But it makes so much fucking sense. Because if every pay-per-view is on Netflix and it's the last John Cena pay-per-view that he's going to wrestle on, he's going to wrestle on all of them, all like 14 of them, it makes so much sense. And the way you send Cena out, WrestleMania, wins the Royal Rumble, challenges for the belt, gets his 17th title defense, and he goes out as a champion on the last pay-per-view, and that Monday Night Raw, he just leaves the belt in the ring and he leaves.
Just walks on. Yep.
He just walks. He just leaves the belt, says, I'm done. I've accomplished everything I wanted to do. And I am the greatest of all time. And you will no longer see me, and it doesn't show. And and then the lights go out and he just disappears.
Yep.
And the belt's just there. That's how you end it. And then when he does reappear in segments in WWE, it'll be the biggest pop. But that's how you do it. There is no way other than that how to do it.
And because he was almost fired.
He was almost fired
until they heard him rap freestyle on the bus one day.
You have to do it. He has to win the belt at Mania, and he has to have a run through basically 8 months in 2025. And then at last pay-per-view, he defends the belt, and he just leaves it in the ring, and then he disappears, and then that's it. And now there's radio silence, and it's like, great, what do we do now? You have to send him off because that payoff would be so great. Because now you set up 2026.
Yeah.
And you set up so much. I mean, that's how I would do it. And it's not even a fan position. It is the only way because he's the last pillar. But you're reestablishing greatness. And you've raised the bar by one. Because if he doesn't go out as a 17-time champion, I mean, you're not necessarily even doing the draw thing anymore. You're gonna break every expectation. And then every title defense this is the last run. Yep. So Seth Rollins, John Cena, Money in the Bank, cool, wonderful. John Cena wins the Money in the Bank. You put him in that match, take that Money in the Bank off the table. Elimination Chamber off the table. Last Elimination Chamber, John Cena, right? Last Rumble. Last this, CM Punk, John Cena, one last time. Now you could label every single pay-per-view. Last time, John Cena, Shinsuke Nakamura. John Cena, Randy Orton, one last time. John Cena, and I can't think of somebody else. LA Knight, John Cena, right? Jimmy Uso and the Usos teaming up with John Cena. It will just go on and on and on and on and on. And then you do the last tour. That's it. And every pay-per-view, it'll be the ultimate payoff.
You say let him go out as champ.
Oh, absolutely. He has to be. And then if you really want to do something, you could have him being beat in his last match. You could have him go out as a champion which will
I think the
create
champ idea, then you can't see me. The belt's just there by itself. That's probably the smart play.
so
See,
smart.
see how it plays out. Unlike breaking the Undertaker's streak, which was one of the worst ideas, I think.
Yeah, it was
That
pretty bad.
pissed me off to no end.
It was pretty bad what they did. My point that I'm making is that he just leaves the belt because his shirt right now is one last time, which I'm gonna probably buy that shirt tomorrow. It's a red shirt. It's great. I mean, and it's John Cena. I mean, it's one last time. I mean, this is it. I mean, we got 12 months of this. Do the final tour for a whole year where this is his 365 days of John Cena and film every moment of this and then make it into a 10-part documentary. Do it like Michael Jordan's The Last Dance. Do John Cena, you can't see me again. 10 parts, Peacock.
Yeah.
I mean, or Netflix, whatever you want to do it on. I mean, the amount of money. This is $1 billion. This run is $1 billion, hands down. And I'm so adamant about this because it's not even me as a fan. It's just that you have to solidify a position. You have to do it because you have to set a new standard for the modern era. And this is exactly how you do it. And this is what I think why he announced it at Money in the Bank. Because it gives, we're in July, right?
Yeah.
If he has all of 2025 in 6 months, he has 18 months left to start setting up every fucking component so that in 20 years from now, some new hotshot kid will become an 18-time grand champion. But it'll take 20, 30 years to do it. And that's what they need to do. And if WWE doesn't do it, I mean, I don't know what they're thinking because this is how you send off a once in a 3 decades superstar who still will be instrumental in your company long after, but disappears for a year and a half and he comes back unannounced. Unbelievably perfect. But 18 months, man. Because him going out last pay-per-view and then that Monday Night Raw, he comes out and he says, "You will never see me again." And then he just leaves the belt in the ring. And so you start Monday Night Raw off. And you have nothing for 10 minutes on Monday Night Raw but just staring at that belt. That payoff will be worth every fucking cent for WWE. It'll be billions of dollars. Easy.
You'd have to have the best of the best announcers to pull that off. So.
I don't even think nothing. You mute the announcers. You have 10 minutes of just looking at that belt and the crowd. Because it'll be because again, that micro content of that would be sick. Now, I understand the playbook completely. This is the only way to do it. Because that payoff will be so grand, it will legitimately beat every wrestling company for the next 5 years. This will end every fight that WWE will ever have to have if they do this the right way.
Do they have another Cena?
They don't need one.
Sorry, what I'm trying to say is who's the next big up-and-coming people?
I mean, Carmelo Hayes. They got a bunch of people in NXT who want the brass ring. Trick Williams. But they'll buy talent. They'll cultivate talent. They'll build it. They don't need another. The next big star are being developed right now in NXT. Braun Breaker is the next big thing. Braun Breaker's parents, his uncle and his father is Scott Snyder and Rick Steiner.
Okay.
Isn't that sick?
That had to be a heck of a Thanksgiving dinner. Let's put it that way.
Well, with Steiner math, it's great. Have you ever seen that?
This spells disaster.
Have you ever seen Steiner's math? He's like, I'm in a triple threat match, but you versus me, and then
it's like 66.3%. Yeah.
But really, it's this. So I have 155% chance of winning, and you have a negative.
Yeah. Steiner math is fun.
Oh my God. One of the funniest things that's ever been done. It was one of the sickest things. And I don't even know how he came, but I think it was like Rockacon was in on that thing too. Like right behind him, that Petey Williams was in there. Oh my God. It was so sick. Big little Petey Williams. Oh my God. What a sick company. TNA Impact Wrestling was fantastic. When they were just allowed to do whatever the hell they wanted to do. It was so great because so much of the stupid, crazy shit in wrestling was in that company. But I digress. But I do want to talk about one more thing.
Sure.
That we were speaking about off air, but I'm going to pull it up because this was done, and Ben Dunn put this up from Antarctic Press. And for those who are listening or don't want to read this, here's a solution to artists who do commissions who want to keep flippers from reselling your art. Personalize each piece or write not for resale, in quotes, is what Ben Dunn put up on his Facebook page. And the reason why I am asking you is I found it offensive. I have no problem stating it. I think what Ben did was, in that statement, was borderline insanity. For a lot of reasons. And the way I feel is that once I buy something from you and I commission something from you, that's a one of one, it's mine. If you want to mass produce something, that's different, right? So if you make me a poster and you're going to be printing out 10,000, but you're selling me the original art, that's different where I can't reproduce it, but I should still be able to resell the art, original art, but I don't have the rights to it. But if it's a one-on-one sketch cover that you did for me, if I want to resell it, I bought it from you and I commissioned a sketch from you, and you want me to buy something from you and then not be able to have a free commerce level on it? That's kind of insanity to me.
Almost like he's saying he could come back and take it anytime he wants. Like, no, I paid for that. I bought it from you.
So it's disturbing to me because why would you want to ruin a beautiful piece of art, for starters? But let's just start there. I don't think we should be fucking up art, right? If you just did a beautiful commission that took you 6 hours to do, why would you put not for resale at the bottom? For starters, it's just on an artistic level. So that's one. The second thing that I have with it is that I just bought it from you. Like I bought a thing that I asked you to do and I paid you money for it, and I don't want not for resale in there. Like, what the fuck, right? So if that's not in the contract, then it should not be there. Then the third thing is that it goes further back to the idea that, well, if I bought something from you and we'll use this CGC thing, it would be ludicrous to put not for resale on this of these 6 women signing it, right? It'd be ludicrous if they did that. Because who are you to tell me when I can't sell or buy something?
That's where I was at with it too.
I mean, it's my money. It's not your money. I work hard for my money. To me, I have a day job, and what I pick and choose to buy with my money is mine. If you don't want to do something or you want to do a commission, then you shouldn't do it. So Brian Polito just did something with CGC where he said, I'm not going to sign certain things that I don't recognize as official parodies of my work, or things from Chaos Comics, which is Dynamite, that he was a part of that he doesn't own at a private CGC signing. You have every right not to do that, man. That's your choice. I also have every right to say that's the only thing I want you to sign on mine. And if you're not going to sign it, I'm not going to participate in
Right.
your signing. So that's how I feel about this thing. So I don't know. Am I missing something? Because I asked an artist last night about this, and he was upset when I brought this up. Not at me, but he said, like, if I make you a commission, it's yours. So if I asked my friend Tom Vell to do a portrait of my family, and I had the original, because he does a lot of original work, he's like, that's yours. If you want to make 10 posters out of that, that's yours.
Yeah.
I don't own that. I would never put not for resale on it. Now, if I was making a poster out of something like this, which is Whitney Morgan, and I bought the original, Tommy might have a contract saying, I'm going to be making a bunch of posters out of that. You can't reprint that puppy out. But you can hang it up on your wall. You could resell the original, but you can't reprint it. That's a different discussion.
That's a valid one, because in that point you're trying to make money off of somebody else's work, as in not selling the original piece, but a facsimile or a reproduction of. However, your rights of ownership to that original piece should be, and I always stated in every contract I give to an artist, I own full rights. Once this is paid for, I own it all. I don't owe them anything else after it. I don't care if I sell it for $12 or $12 million. I don't owe them anything.
But if you bought a page from, so I'll give you an example. Let's say that this book is WWE number 7, right?
Sure.
You bought an original page from this book. You own the original page. You don't own the rights to that page.
I own the rights to I own the ability. When I say rights, I mean I own the ability to do what I wish with that original page. If I decide I want to take that original page, cut it up, take a hit, I'm going to do it because it's my page. If I want to resell it, I will do it because that's my page.
You can't reprint the page.
Right. I'm not reprinting it. I'm saying I have the original and I want to resell that original. I have every right to do it. Now, if I buy art that I'm commissioning for a book, that's a whole different thing. Then I own all the rights to it.
So it's tricky, right? So I had Elias Chazuz do a commission for me. It's on a Zenescope sketchbook of Helsing, Van Helsing. I don't own the rights to that character, but it's also a one-off, right? So, but I also think to some degree that Zenescope can't be like, we're going to make a cover out of this so quickly without me giving my blessing. As Zenescope said, dude, we love this cover and we love this concept. Can we do it? I'm like, guys, go right ahead. I don't need you. If you want to, you want to scan the book or you want to copy the book, you want to take photos and have Charles just redo the book. And I mean, just, maybe you want to, put somewhere in there that this was granted by special permission by Andrew Davis, because the original concept technically was mine. Somewhere I should be credited for it. But I'm not going to fucking stop somebody from doing something, right?
But again, the point was,
I have the original.
That's trying to say what you can do with that particular piece of artwork. Again, I'm not saying you can get it colored and then sell it all off in multiple prints. But as far as that physical in-hand piece, you are free to do with it what you wish.
And that's my position. Is that my other issue with this is that if I just bought a $1,500 commission and you want to put not for resale or you want to put personalization on it, that's a problem. Because at that point, this is no longer a simple transaction. If somebody does a little bat sketch on my book and it's so like I've had personalized books, right? Nobody cares. It's $1 book. Right? To Andrew, hope you enjoy Cyberforce, right? Dave, right? But like, or Dave Finch just handed through a book of mine while signing it, and I thought it was funny. It was $1 book, right? Dave, he knew it was $1 book, and he hasn't seen it. He's like, "Oh my God, I worked on this. I'm like, I haven't seen this in years." They're like, "Where the fuck did you find this book?" It was a very funny moment between me and Dave Finch because I'm just happy that I brought him something that he hasn't seen. So I like to surprise creators with some cool shit they haven't seen in a while, right? But like, he knew the book I wasn't, but he also knew I brought him a book that was worth a $300 book. He was way more careful with the $300 book, but he didn't personalize it. Like, I mean, he knew he could have freaking drew a dick on the Cyberforce book, and nobody would have given a fuck, right? Because it's $1 book, and everybody would have thought it was funny. But that's my point. It's also how much money is being spent.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's doing something for free and they want to personalize it, it's different than if you're spending a lot of money too.
Mm-hmm.
At least I think it is. If somebody's doing a commission for me for free and they want to make a personalization component to it, that's fine.
And again,
for
it. I can say from experience, I had Mark McKenna did both of the alternate covers for the Slaughterville books. Okay. So I, in the contract, stated I own the full rights for reproduction because he's using it for the books and everything else. But I also have the original art that he sent me because I bought that with it. In the contract, I said I would like a copy of the original art, and that was something we agreed to. And and sure enough, I have it hanging up in a shadow box in my room. But if I decide I want to sell Mark McKenna's original sketch cover for Slaughterville's 1 and 2, yes, I can. It's mine. I'll do what I want.
But let's say that he said, "Look, I want to keep these original arts," and then he wants to sell it on his own. And you didn't, and you said, "Look, I'll do the thing. You have the full rights, but I want the tangible rights to sell this on my own website because I think I can make more money." Simon Basley is a good example of this, right? So Simon Basley might do a Batman cover, make $900 on the cover, but sell that Batman cover for $15,000.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the contract with DC is that he's not making money from doing the Batman cover directly. He's making money by selling the original art.
Right.
And so he would rather make the $15K by selling the original art. And DC knows it and he knows it. And they know that if they want that original art, they're going to have to pay him like $7,000 for a cover. Versus him doing it his way and everybody's happier. And so he has the rights to sell the art.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, I mean, I'm asking a lot of people these questions now because I think it's a really important question. And I think it's just an idiotic statement.
Right.
And it's shocking who it came from. Mm-hmm. And I like Ben, but I think Ben is wrong on this. And I don't think Ben is coming out of a place of being mean per se. And maybe you agree or disagree. I don't think the statement was thought through.
That's where
I genuinely think, and the comments on this, I think that a lot of these people haven't thought this statement through. Because it's limiting what I can and can't do with my money. When I commission you to do something. Which means I am actively seeking out to say, I would like you to do A, and I'm going to give you money to do A. And it is a work for hire contract.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, is that what a commission is?
That's exactly what I would say.
I mean, you're not if you're at a con getting a $250 sketch, like, here's a contract, buddy. If you got a lawyer, let's notarize it. You're not doing that, right?
It's still a verbal contract, though.
It's a verbal contract.
Mm-hmm.
I ask you to do A, B, and C in there. You can't put something else in there. And that once you're done with me, and look, I always ask. I ask before I do it. I'm getting this graded. Do you have a problem with that? Like I asked Charles, I said, I don't have a problem with this. Why would I have a problem with you getting it graded, dude? Like I'm not selling that book. And also, I just paid $300. Like if he says it's going to be another $10 to get it done. I'm not going to sit here and argue with children on money. And then he signed some other stuff for me, but I was thrilled with my book, right? I have the book, so I'm not selling the book. It's one of my favorite things that I've done ever.
Yeah.
That's my problem, is that I just thought the statement was ridiculous, and I was curious because I don't know what I'm missing, and I'm curious to ask other artists what they think, because I don't know what I'm missing on that statement that was stated. But that's how I feel. So I don't know. Maybe we beat it to a dead horse. I don't know.
No, no, it. I don't know what he's trying to. Like, you should have a goal and a call for action like this. But
Is it the issue that you're trying to prevent flipping on a
you
massive level, where somebody buys a commission for 200 and then they sell that thing for 1,200, and then the artist charged fair market or a little bit below fair market, work their ass off,
Mhm.
and then they'll get the lion's share of the trade.
But let me ask you this: if he goes about his way and every single flipper is gone, now they're not making any money. Nobody's buying your stuff because nobody wants to try to flip it.
I mean, I'll put it this way. I was looking to go to a con where a bunch of voice actors were there, and they're all
Mhm.
charging $60 to sign Pop Funkos and trading cards. And it's a $30 ticket, and I said, no, thank you. And I decided not to go. I went to Starbucks instead. I spent $15, sat in Starbucks for like an hour, and I thought my $15 at Starbucks was a better trade.
Hmm.
And I was disappointed not to go because I wanted to go, but I'm like, $60 for a fucking autograph. Are you fucking kidding me, from a voice actor?
Mhm.
And you got to get those cards certified or that Pop Funko JSA. Like, all of a
Hmm.
sudden, I'm looking at $300-400, and like for 4 autographs, like, and I just thought it was too pricey, and I don't know how many people are paying this price. I get that there's flippers flipping autographs, but
Right,
do you
right.
want me to flip?
They should want you to, because not only does it bring you in some money, it also make sure that your name is still relevant and out there. I don't see it as a bad thing. I don't know.
Again. I mean, I'm not gonna go spend $60 on a voice actor.
No,
I don't
um,
care if
but they
you're
were.
of Naruto. You're not worth $60. I just bought Aja Wilson, who was the she wasn't the MVP. That was Breonna Stewart. But Aja Wilson was on the Las Vegas Aces. I bought a Jaguar autograph card of hers for $55. I sold it for 130. The card and her autograph. There's only 10 of those cards and her autograph on that card, right? Like, and you're charging more than that?
Mhm.
No offense, but I think Aja Wilson is worth a little bit more than particular voice actors. I just bought a Breonna Stewart for $50. That's autographed. She was the MVP last year on another Jaguar, which is a limited 10 card. And I mean, I'm selling that for 180. It was actually a $60 card now that I think about it, but
Yeah.
$60 for Breonna Stewart, who's the MVP at the WNBA. Like, are we really comparing? And I get it's a WNBA, but my point is that we have a prominent sports figure versus a voice actor. I mean, I just bought a Senga card for $150. That was a limited 18 out of 50 autograph Chrome Sapphire Gold Edition. Like, again, we're going back to value in prominent figures, and like, I just don't foresee. I don't see a voice actor fetching $60 plus for an autograph, and then I got to pump money in to protect it. Like, and that's my problem with this whole statement, is that if you overcharge, people won't buy your product, or the people
That's,
will. And then if it's not being flipped or it's not a commodity, I mean,
Mhm.
it's not that it's not worthless, but it's not, fetch and bank. Don't you want so don't you want I mean, board games are a bad example. So
Yeah.
I bought a comic book, right?
Mhm.
I just bought 3 books that sold out really quickly, right? And it was Penthouse from KRS Comics. They sold out within like 10 minutes, and I'm selling them for like $65 a pop, right? Took about 4 weeks for them to sell out of my store. I bought 3 of them, made a lot of money, right? But the reason why is that they sold out within 10 minutes. So don't you want that for your book to sell quickly and then for it to trade from $35 to $65?
Because what that's going to do is then make it more interesting if they want your next one. Like, oh, the first one went and is now worth this.
The second one did that, and then the third one did that. I bought the second one when I was interviewing Cherry DeVry. So in the middle of that interview, I bought that book. So I'm buying a book called Penthouse while interviewing an adult superstar. Oh my God!
Have an interesting day.
It was an interesting day. So many things I could say.
Mm-hmm.
That interview's doing well for me too, but not the point.
Yeah.
She wore something very, very, very snug, and she wore a Netflix and chill outfit, but she shouldn't have. She should have worn like a freaking micro bikini. Oh my God! Savannah Fox wore a micro bikini on my bequest. During that interview, that was cool. She wore a pink bikini. I was so excited when she wore it. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get in so much trouble. So much trouble.
Maybe that's what I need to start doing, is wearing skimpy clothes when I'm interviewing people.
Oh my God. Just I might make all my adult superstars wear skimpy clothes when they're well endowed. It's so smart. It's so smart. It's not even my idea. It's really not. I stole it from somebody. A woman gave me the idea, actually. Well, to talk about interesting, right? A woman gave me the idea to ask my guest to wear a bikini during our interview.
I'm
like,
seen that coming.
I didn't see it coming either. She's like, no, just ask her. She might do it. I'm like, okay. If she doesn't, like, offer like $20 and she might do it for $20. And I'm like,
well, good Lord.
What? What'd you say?
Nothing at all. As a good Christian.
But like, so I don't know, but that statement I found offensive that he put up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was well thought, but no, I disagree that you have anything to say with what I do with what I bought.
I found it very, very much out of touch, where I think that they feel there might be a problem. I can acknowledge the problem. That is not the solution. The solution is to charge more money. The solution is to charge a number that you feel is reasonable if your product gets flipped. I'll give an example. I just bought some Negro League baseball cards, right?
Okay.
I charged a price where it was a $50 set. I charged $160, sold out. Somebody sold it after me on a bid that went up to like $238. So I gave up somewhat. I gave up about $78, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
But my product sold out within 40 minutes of me buying it. I paid for my second item that I bought for me as a collector. I was happy, right? Because that was the objective, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get my item for free, right? You buy one piece for both, and I made $20 on it, right? So I was thrilled, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if that guy flipped that item now for $240 or $250 and he made $100 on me, I'm okay with that because I made a good chunk of change. So I picked a number, and I was expecting him to counter me at 150. We would have settled at 150. We all would have been happy, right?
Right.
He said, 160, done deal, man. No problem. Done deal, man. No problem. This is not there. Everybody was happy, right?
But again, you don't owe.
I set the lowest that I'm okay with being flipped on. Right, was 150. I sold it for 160.
What was it that was sold again?
It was a Rick Wood 6-card baseball set.
You don't owe Rick Wood anything. You don't owe whoever made it, Tops or.
I owe Tops a lot, but that's not the point.
This is why I drink.
Tops spoils me well. I'm a good.
You understand where I'm at.
They take care of me. No, I'm joking. But Tops wants it to be that way, right? It's sold out, and they want that shit to sell for $160 or $200 or $400. They wanted to sell that because guess what? It cost them $25 to make. They're selling for 50. They're making their money. They're not specking on it. And guess
Mhm.
what? They're thrilled.
Yeah.
But Topps doesn't care.
Nope.
Topps knows. I mean, I buy a wholesale from Topps.
Mm-hmm.
I buy cards for $4.50. They want to sell me cards for $4.50 instead of $9 because they understand when they sell me a card for $4.50 and I sell it for $8, I'm going to continuously buy from them
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over again. And then they're thrilled and I'm thrilled and everybody's happy.
Yep.
It's hard.
It's really not.
But I digress.
Yeah.
Back to the election. How are you feeling about this? No, we're not gonna do that. Yeah. We spoke a lot about anything but your books, which is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did quite a bit. It is 11:30 here, so.
Damn, it's fucking 11:30 on a Sunday.
I know. It's crazy.
I don't have work tomorrow. I'm good. But anyway, I'm gonna give you a chance to promote yourself. Where can people find you, bother you, hit you up, disturb you, tell you to go to hell, maybe become a vegan? I don't know.
I'm used to Laughing Rogue on pretty much everything. I think it's Laughing Rogue PA on Twitter X. But yeah, we're hanging out. We're making new books. We're doing new games. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming.
Fair enough. And obviously, I mean, people can go find you, and then I'm gonna keep saying it. You gotta support what you like. What that means is that when people have product out there, they got projects, gotta go buy them. They got a show, you gotta go watch it. If they have social media, you gotta go follow it. It goes a long way. You gotta interact with people, you gotta share their stuff, and yeah, it goes a long way in that regard. And then as far as I'm concerned, I am Pop Anime Comics on what is now known formerly as Twitter and now known as X. Because X marks the spot on where you can find me at Pop Anime Comics. Also on the Instagram, I am Pop Anime Comics. On Facebook, I am Pop Anime Comics. On YouTube, I am Pop Anime Comics. I got a lot of content on YouTube. I'm adding a lot more. I got a whole back-end library, almost like 400 pieces of content and interviews that half of them have never been released that are slowly going to be getting released, along with my other show, which is going to be coming over on a back-end library probably in the next 6 months or so. So I got a lot of content, a lot of shorts, and then I got some other stuff that also has never been released. And I have an interview that I did very early on that I just found with Elena Di Luca, and it's an interesting interview. It's an interesting interview how a dominatrix was in a relationship with a military man living on a military base and made her a really good dom. Really fascinating discussion with her. I was listening to it. I got to cut it up though. Parts of it. It's really good though. It's a good one. She's something. She's something. She knows me quite well, but I'm not going to say how. I'm not going to say how. I could be your accountant for all you guys know. Don't assume. Don't assume anything. I am not her accountant. She does not want me anywhere near her books. I can tell you that. That's not true either. There are books she might want me around, but not the point here. This is the wrong show for all this. I know. I'm trying to make Chris really uncomfortable. That's the objective here.
Nah.
But no. That's coming probably in the next month. Cutting that one up, but a lot of content's going to be released, both a live reissued content as well as brand new content that has never come out before. So you're gonna be wanting to look out for me. Yeah, that's my YouTube channel. So subscribe now, guys. Subscribe now, and I promise you won't regret it. So yeah, that's that. And then I'm Pop Anime Comics on TikTok, and I am the Pop Anime Comics on the eBay. So Pop Anime Comics Collectibles. Look for comics and collectibles. Come shop with us on eBay. I carry a lot of really cool product. I carry anything from this, all 15 in hollow foil, all 15 of these in hollow foil. I have. I also carry, which is some of the cards that I was talking about before. This is a game used base limited to $199 or less from that Rickwood field. So Major League Baseball has finally recognized some statistics from the Negro Leagues back in the day. And Rickwood is one of those old stadiums. And This was like a day before Willie Mays passed away, right? And so it was very cool in that regard. So this is actually a game used base from that game that they were playing for the first one, and I have one of those left in my store. So
Hmm.
I'm asking 170. It was a $100 card. Sold out so quick. It sold out so quick, that card. I think I got maybe like 20 minutes. So it's definitely a desirable card. And I got those coming in. I also have stuff like this coming in as well. I am trying to get her for an interview. I mean, I can tell you, I don't know what you noticed first, but I noticed that she's wearing a butterfly bikini.
The
That's what I noticed
intellect.
first. Now, some people said she's really hot. I noticed the butterfly bikini first. I just want to make sure that we all understand priorities here. What did you notice first? Is the question I asked with her. But more importantly, I also have some other cool stuff in there. I have stuff like this in my store. Obviously,
Mhm.
I have some stuff like this that may come into my store, which is a super expensive card. And then I also have one of these in my store right now, which is a blind card of Juju Watkins signed autograph, her throwing out the first pitch at Dodger Stadium. And it's limited down from 99 to 49 to 25 to 10 to 5 to 1. And yeah, it's a little bit of an expensive card. And in the next month, I'm going to be raising it up to about 400. So right now it's sitting at about 315. My objective is that in the next month, I'm probably going to raise it up to about 400 because she can dunk in the WNBA when she gets there. She can dunk. She can dunk, and she's done it in practice. And if you think Caitlin Clark is good, she's something else. So yeah, that's an expensive card. Right now it's 315. So if someone wants to buy it from me for $315, you got it. But again, I think it's gonna be worth real money, especially if you pull like a 25 or a 10 or a 5. If you pull the 101 on that, probably looking at like 1,500 ease.
Hmm.
Ease. If you pull the 99, we're looking at around 300. If you pull a 49 on her, maybe 350, 375 conservatively. You pull a 25, you're looking at 4. A red, 600. Easy. And I've been known to pull really, really good cards lately. So, and look, if I get it and it doesn't sell, I might take it down and I might keep both and crack it open. And maybe we'll crack it open together here. So if you don't want us to crack it open here, guys, that's all I'm going to say. Buy the card.
But
So yeah. But yeah, that's kind of everything I got. And on that note, at 11:30 on a Sunday, I'm gonna let you take us out. You could have the final word.
all right. Well, I thank everybody for coming in, and I appreciate you all, and have a great day.
I don't think I could have said that any better myself, everybody. That is a wrap.